All right, so I am in CVG. I have no idea what that stands for, but it's the Cincinnati airport. I came here for a quick one-day meeting, flew in this morning, was supposed to fly in, fly out. I am heading to Phoenix. Somebody's trying to call me. It's probably notification of another flight delay. So my first two flights, both to Chicago, were canceled. I am now on a flight to Dallas that connects in Dallas, and that flight is delayed. So I have a 1 hour connection and my flight is delayed 40 minutes, which means I have 20 minutes to connect my flight. So I'm not optimistic. I will likely be spending the night at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, where I've stayed in the past, but we're gonna see. Made my connection. I had 25 minutes, even with the delayed flight, still made it. Actually had a few minutes to spare. I'm here this week in Scottsdale for a couple days speaking at our tax automation conference, where we're meeting with a bunch of tax executives from around the country, talking about how automation and technology and digitization is changing our industry. But this isn't specific to just accounting. Every business, every industry is going through fundamental changes. So what I wanted to explore this week is what can people early in their career do to put themselves in the best position to not only embrace these technology changes, but I really feel like you are uniquely positioned to be able to accelerate your career, move forward in this really, really dynamic period. All right, so I'm already registered, had breakfast, grabbing some stuff, and then heading to the conference. So let's go. Machine here, like, I don't know if this is going to translate on film.
Come on, I know, I'm a hologram, but it's fine, you can play with me.
All right, when it comes to touch,
one click, one tap, and I'll take it. Look at you, you're a rock star.
All right, I'm a very early adopter to technology.
Help the cause by making tech easier for others to understand.
That's what we're doing today.
It's probably the best way for you to master.
That's what we're doing.
Think about outside of work, like how we live our everyday lives. And I mean, you and I, we embrace new technology. And I don't think it's limited to the young generations. I mean, I'm an all-inclusion kind of guy, so,
right.
But especially applies to younger generation who are more in tune with the latest technology. I think about all the apps on your phones. Just flying here, I don't know when the last time I actually went up to the airline counter, got the boarding ticket.
Right.
It's all through the app. I order my coffee that way, pick it up. So if we're doing that, using technology and all the available apps to better our lives, why would you not do that at work? The whole concept of doing things the way that's always has been, not embracing new technology, you don't have to be a technology guru to actually be able to do things differently at work. Now, the technology that's available at workplace is such easy, kind of, user-friendly type of technology solutions. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be embracing what's going on now at the workplace.
It may sound simple, but watch YouTube, right? So there's no, especially if you did not study technology or get a degree in the technology area, you might say, where do I start? And it's starting out small. It's really kind of, instead of just reading about it, which you could do, and, for me, I read a lot, right? In LinkedIn, I'm constantly reading in terms of what's out there, and then asking a lot of questions. So I have a couple of resources that I come across, and I'm fortunate I'm at PwC, and I'm learning by reading, watching YouTubes, getting my hands dirty, playing around with tools. And guess what? Some of these tools are for free. You could download them, you could put it on your desktop, and you could see and start learning that way. So, that's a very easy and simple way to get started.
All right, we have a situation. In about 2 hours, I'm supposed to host an episode of the Family Feud International Tax Edition. I just learned that 2 of my partners that are supposed to be the heads of the families for the Family Feud actually printed out the surveys to be able to study what the answers are for the surveys for Family Feud. What we do is, a couple weeks ago, we sent out a survey to all the participants at the conference to fill out the survey. We closed the survey a week and a half ago, the idea being that the people that filled out the survey will forget what the 5 to 8 answers are, because if you know what the answers to the survey is, then when you're doing Family Feud, you're going to know all of the answers and nobody is going to strike out. I'm now trying to figure out what to do with the fact that the 2 heads of the families actually know all of the answers and what's behind every single bar. I've decided to fire them from the heads of their family. What I thought would be very entertaining was not to do it beforehand, but to do it as part of the game show. And I've actually found 2 of my other partners to be able to replace them in the game show. My hope is that everybody takes this in good fun, because Andy and Eric, it certainly is meant to be. And so I've got a whole bunch of people in on this. And we're going to see how it goes. Let's find Diane. She's somewhere around. I didn't mention that the person that we will be firing is actually the one who organized the entire conference, and that Diane is the marketing person responsible for all of the logistics, and then he just asked me to do this Family Feud. So this could be both of our last conferences.
If so, goodbye.
All right, we're doing some last minute preparations here. We've got Andy, we've got Andy Ruggles, who's organized the conference.
Yeah.
Chief sponsor and
That's right.
main family member of
Yes.
Family Feud.
West Coast.
The West Coast team, the West team. So, to ask a serious question before we dive into Family Feud, what advice would you give to somebody early in their career to adopt or adapt to all the changes that we're seeing?
Yeah, I would say be curious. Be curious around everything from technical, but be curious about the tech. So a lot of the technology that's come out is really easy for you to use. And what's here today wasn't here 2 years ago. And what's going to be here tomorrow will be new as well. So be curious about what's coming out. It continues to change. Whether it's the tax law continues to change or the technology. That's my advice. Be curious.
All right. Thanks, Andy.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so I just interviewed Andy, and I'm starting to feel a little bad about firing him, but I think he's really looking forward to playing. Bart Stratton, ladies and gentlemen.
How are we doing, Doug?
Top 7 answers on the board. Which Tax Cuts and Jobs Act provision is in most need of additional tax?
Guilty.
Guilty. Survey says. Great edition of Family Feud yesterday. I decided at the last minute not to fire my dear friend, partner, and colleague, Andy Ruggles. But Andy, I hope you watch this. And I don't know if you would have thought it was funny or if it would have seemed a little mean. And I think my view on comedy, particularly in the professional world and doing fun stuff, is that anybody thinks that it could be construed as mean, then it's just not worth doing. Anyway, Andy and Eric did not run away with all of the answers. Ended up being a lot of fun. All right, I got one more panel today on real tax issues now. Back to my day job before I head to Houston.